Hey guys, what's up? How's it going? It's the Nibs here coming to you guys with another tutorial. In today's tutorial I'm going to be doing a little intro animation. It looks really cool, but it's really simple, and it's going to be a really fun tutorial just because it's that simple. What we're going to actually be doing today is let me open it up real here. Well, not real here, real fast. Let me go to box intro and open up this intro. So what it actually is just a box that's masked out to form a little incoming animation, so it looks really cool. And then your logo sits inside the box, and actually right here at the beginning, the text that falls beneath the box and the logo, it's actually sitting beneath the logo in the box. And then the position is keyframed, so it falls underneath the logo, and it makes a really cool intro all in all. So let's watch this one more time. So yeah guys, it's a really cool simple animation that we can go ahead and make in like 6 minutes. So let's go ahead and open After Effects and let's make a new composition. I'm going to go ahead and delete this because this was just me messing around before the tutorial. And go to Composition, New Composition, make the width and height 1280 by 720, make the frame rate 60, and make the duration at 6 seconds. Push OK. Now what we're going to be doing is actually go up to your mask tool, make sure you're on rectangle tool, and make a perfect square. Now to make a perfect square you have to hold shift while you're making your square, and this will give us like a really cool, just nice square that we're going to be able to mess around with in our animation. Now go to the selection tool and try to center this. Actually, if we go down to the icon down here and go to title action safe, we can get the properties of the area to help us center our objects in our intro. So now if we go back to the selection tool and we center this, now this little dot in the middle of my square is not always going to be centered in every single square that you make, or like rectangle or geometry. So what you can actually do is use these little squares on the outside of your square and line them up with these dashes on the side of your area, and it will actually center your square in the middle of your animation. Now it's just my preference, I always like to make things perfect in any intro that I make, because I don't know, it's just my preference. I know that I tried my hardest and to make this the most perfect intro as I can once I render it out. I really hate rendering things out and it turns out like total dog crap. So anyways guys, let's go ahead and jump right back into this tutorial. Now I'm gonna close that, well not close it, just collapse it, and go ahead and take all the area off by clicking down on this little icon again and take off title action safe. Now what we're going to be doing is actually making a backdrop layer as like a background. So go ahead and right click, make a new solid, make the color black, and make the width and height 1280 by 720 and rename this to backdrop. And then make it the comp size and push OK. Now drag the backdrop underneath the shape layer. Now to actually animate our square, we're going to have to pre-compose it. So go up to Layer, Pre-compose, push OK. Actually, rename this square real fast, if I can spell square right. And then what we're going to be doing now, actually, before I made my square, I was actually supposed to change the stroke around it. So my bad guys, let me redo that real fast. So I'm going to have to make a new square. As you can see, my stroke is actually at 0 pixels. I'm going to have to make that 2. And then I'm going to hold down shift again, make my square. And then move it right about there. And then I'm going to have to open up the selection to the area again. And then center my square. So there we go. Anyways guys, now if I come in here and I pre-compose it, as you can see, let me rename it as square. As you can see, I have a little white box in my area. So if I take this back off again, and then I go into the mask up here for the pen tool, make sure you have the pen tool selected, and then I go around my square. You don't have to make this perfect, I'll show you why later. If we go around our square, oops, actually if you click on one corner and then you hold shift, you can actually make a complete straight line without trying to actually make a straight line. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And if you do hold shift, it won't turn out as crappy. Like if you don't hold shift, it's not going to make a straight line most likely, and once you have the animation of the line going around your square, it's not going to look that perfect. So once you actually have your path made with your pen tool around your square, what we're going to be doing now is go up to Effect and Generate, and we're going to generate a stroke around our square. So the reason why we didn't have to make that completely perfect is because instead of making the paint style on original image, we're going to make it on transparent. Now if you can look at this, if I go back to on original image, it's going to mask out some of it. As you can see, like up here it's masked out a little bit, and down here it's masked out a little bit, but it's not completely masked out. But if we make it on transparent, it's going to completely mask out our image. Now what we can do now is actually change this to 0%. Now once we have changed this to 0%, you can see everything's gone. So if we go to the beginning and we click on the end, like stopwatch, we can actually take this on to 0% and then go up to about like a second and then change this to 100%. Now since we already have the stopwatch ticked, it's going to make another keyframe. So if we go back through this again, you can actually see that a white line is forming around our box. Now you really can't see that because the path is on there, but if I play through without the path on there, you can see that a white line forms around our box, and that's really cool. So that's a really cool effect. Now what I'm going to be actually doing is actually change this brush size to 2.2, make it a little bit thicker, makes it look a lot nicer, as you can see. Now if I change that back to 2, you can see that it's not going to look that, like, I guess, thick and bold. But if we change it just to 2.2, actually, just like 0.2 tenths of higher, it's going to make a lot of difference. It's going to make it look a lot nicer. So anyways, guys, if you change that to 2.2, now you can see that we have a really cool box effect that's going to be going around our logo. Now what we can actually do now, since we have our box made, is I'm actually going to go to my square. I'm going to scale it. I'm going to scale it down a little bit. Now if we go back through it, we can see that the box still forms the effect that we want. Now the way I did the scale, if you guys don't know, you click on your image, you push S, and it just opens up the scale. Now other things I'm going to be doing is actually I'm going to hit T for transparency, which is opacity, and I think that's about it for this tutorial. If I ever have to do that, guys, I will tell you what buttons I'm pushing, because I really don't have the thing that pops up on the screen that tells you what buttons I pushed. But anyways, guys, let's get back into this tutorial. So what we have to do still is we actually have to make the logo appear inside our box, and we have to make the text fall beneath the logo and the box. So what we have to do now actually is guys can either make a text, which I'm going to show you how to do here, because you most likely don't have a pre-made logo and you just want to get through this tutorial. So basically what you can do is you can abbreviate anything. You can type in like CH for Charlie, was what I'm going to do, which is a pretty bad abbreviation, but oh well. And then scale it up a little bit, go to your selection tool and move it in like right in the center of your square. Now once you have this done, you can go down, like I said before, and you can go down to transparency, and then right before your square is formed, right about there, make your opacity 0%, and then click on the little stopwatch. Now go about a half second, I would say, after your animation, and then make the opacity 100%. And now since you already have the stopwatch ticked, it's going to already make another keyframe. So if you go back through this, your box is going to form, your logo is going to come in with the opacity change, and it's going to make a really cool effect. Now I'm actually going to center that text up a little bit. There we go. And now what we can do is make a new text layer. Actually, before we do that, we have to make a box behind this. Now my After Effects is a little bit weird on making boxes, so I'm going to go ahead and make a new mask, and I'm going to go to square, and then I'm going to actually take off the selection to the area, and then I'm going to make a box around this one. Now, if you have this, go from your comp 1 to your square, because I have to do this, because if I do make it a comp 1, it's just going to make a new mask, and it's going to make a new mask on my text, or whatever layer I have selected, so I'm going to push Control Z. But if I go to square, it's going to give me a new shape layer. So if I make a shape layer around this square, right about there, and I go to 0 pixels for my stroke, because all I want is a little black box, and I push Control C on my shape layer, I go back to comp 1, I push Control V, and I drag this below my square. Now what I'm going to have is a box behind my square. Now I'm going to have to scale this up, because I did scale up my square that's pre-composed already, so I'm going to have to scale this down a little bit. Let's see what I scaled this one to. 76%. So if I go back to this one, I'm going to push scale, and I'm going to scale this back down to 76%. Now as you can see, the box is actually going to form around the other box because we have the same exact scale now. Now if I collapse all of these, make it all nice and neat. There we go. Anyways guys, now once we have that, we can make a new text layer and we can just call that Charlie, since our abbreviation is Charlie, and I can actually change the size of the text to like 50. Or actually, I think I might be able to get away with 100. Maybe. If I move this down here, we can actually see what I can get away with this text layer. Oh, what the heck? There we go. Yeah, that looks actually pretty cool. I'm gonna go ahead and go with like, let's go with like 75 though. Yep, that's looking awesome. So what the font I'm using right now is actually called Intercorp 2, and the 2 is actually in Roman numerals. So you can go ahead and download that if you like this font, but you can actually use whatever font you would like. So what we're going to be doing now is actually drag the new text layer beneath the square that we made, and then drag it beneath everything else on our little area. And then what we're going to be doing is actually go to position, and then right where you want the position to start, right, like right here is where I would like the text to fall beneath everything else. So if you go to position, you take the little stopwatch right here, and then you go a little bit further, right about here, and then you move your text down right here. You can see now the text falls beneath the intro as you scroll through it. So to be honest, the way this falls right here is a little bit plain. So what I'm going to do is actually go into the paths, drag the path down for the keyframes right about there, and now what we're going to do is actually use the little like diamond thing that's laying beside the box and drag this over. So if you look at this now the text is going to fly in really fast, and it's going to settle down and move into position really like smoothly. So if we go back to our timeline, you can see that now it's going to go in really fast, and it's going to just lay there. Well, actually, I'm going to go ahead and play this so we can actually get a better effect. Yep. It's really subtle, so you really can't notice it, but to be honest, if you take the effect off, it's not going to look that good. So it's just going to be really sharp, like it's going to like fly in really sharp beneath your logo and your box. So this is basically all I wanted to show you guys today, guys. So let's basically pan through the whole entire intro that we've made today. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I wanted to post a speed art yesterday. Actually, I can show you guys that real fast. I made a speed art over this background, and it was actually a really nice background once I finished it. I was so excited to stop the recording and upload it and everything, but once I actually went back to Camtasia, I wasn't recording at all. So I was pretty upset about that yesterday, but it's completely fine. Actually, comment in the section if you want me to do a tutorial over this. I'm really stuck on tutorials to do. I've just been messing around in After Effects and Cinema 4D to find out what things I can actually show you guys how to do, and actually what things you guys would be interested on learning how to do, because there's a lot of things out there that are actually just pretty boring in Cinema 4D. A lot of technical stuff that really people just don't want to learn how to do. I mean, a lot of people just want to learn how to do like intros or animations or effects or Photoshop or IntelliJ or UDK or anything, dude. I can show you how to do a lot of stuff, but I really don't know what to actually show because I don't know what you guys are interested in. So go ahead and comment in the section below for basically me to find out what tutorials you guys would like to learn how to do and what you guys would like to learn how to do in these programs. But it's been really fun teaching you guys how to do that intro, and yeah, I hope to see you guys later. I'm out. Oops. Peace.